Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are names that are going to come up when it comes to coaching searches for 2025 and no doubt beyond. And we've been having conversations. Will they both leave? Will they both stay? Will one leave? I've been told in the comment section that if we had to choose between the person that's going to leave, the coordinator that's going to leave, the unanimous choice would be Aaron Glenn, that he would be the one that's going to be departing, probably to take the Saints or the New York Jets job. Now, the New York Jets fired their general manager the 19th of November 2024, and in week 5 they fired their coach. So the Woody Johnson is going to have to hire a general manager, and then that general manager is going to have to hire a coach, and that coach could be Aaron Glenn, or he could go to the Saints. But this particular video, we're going to talk about Ben Johnson, and I've been seeing a very particular team that has been kind of clamoring for Ben Johnson. Every time I click on one of these guys' videos, this particular dude, he always is talking about Ben Johnson. Now, I've got no problem with this individual that I'm about to bring up because I respect his work. I respect the fact that he is a media credentialed journalist who asks the tough questions, and he will not hold back when it comes to the NFL, his NFL team. I could very much see myself if I always try to, who would I be like if I had credentials and I was in front of the media, where you kind of want to protect that relationship, but you also want to be able to ask the tough questions. And if I was ever a credentialed person, knowing that I'm a fan at heart, I would want to ask probably questions I couldn't get answers to, the tough questions. But who am I referring to? Now, this is not for you to go attack this guy or anything like that. Like I said, I like his work. He's hilarious. He's funny. And he does not hold back when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. But that is Grant Cohen. This guy has been talking about, as you can see, can the 49ers hire Ben Johnson to replace Kyle Shanahan? If we go down, he is consistently talking about, will the 49ers replace Kyle Shanahan with Ben Johnson next year? And it goes on and on. Every time he makes a video, he's usually talking about Ben Johnson being the next head coach. He talks about how stagnant the offense is and how Kyle Shanahan can't really coach guys open or something like that. I listen to him. I wind up following teams. Like if I subscribed to you or watched you back when we were playing you, and you're interesting, sometimes I'll stick around, and sometimes I also want to do a little reconnaissance and try to, see what you guys are saying, especially if it's a team I can't stand like the San Francisco 49ers. But Grant Cohen is just insistent that the San Francisco 49ers are going to hire Ben Johnson because Kyle Shanahan is going to get fired. Now, this guy is a media insider with the team. And he strongly believes that if these guys don't win the Super Bowl, that they will be fired. Both Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch could both be fired. We saw the same thing with Robert Saleh. He got fired in week 5. The general manager got fired in week 12, going into week 13. So about 2 months later, and now the Jets have to start kind of that search. And man, it feels good not to be us. That was us 4 years ago. As a matter of fact, 4 years ago tomorrow, the Detroit Lions, I thought it was the 20th. But it might be a little later. Hold on, let me see. Can I go back that far? I don't think I can go back that far using this clock here. But I swear it was on the 20th. It could have been on the 30th, though, or the 20-something. It was coming up real soon 4 years ago that the Detroit Lions fired Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. So 4 years ago, the Jets were us. And now those guys are wearing paper bags and things like that. But that the 49ers could also follow suit. And I actually believe them. The 49ers have been at the precipice. Like they've been at the cusp for the last couple of years. They've gotten to, I want to say, like every NFC title game the last 5 years. They beat us. Then they lost to the Eagles the year before that. Then they made it 2 out of the 5 years, I think. They remind me of the Pistons back in 2004. I think how we made it to 5 straight Eastern Conference Finals appearances. But do you think that Ben Johnson would go to the San Francisco 49ers? We all know that Ben Johnson is going to go to a perfect situation. Perfect situation. And the reports are he's going to want to choose his quarterback. He's not going to be able to do that in San Francisco. And in addition to that, you're going to inherit all these contracts. You just paid Debo. You just paid Trent. You paid Brandon Ayuk, who's hurt. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Purdy. George Kittle, that situation probably will be coming up very soon. So I don't know if Ben Johnson goes over there, but I know the Grant and Ben Johnson, I went and looked at some of his comments on that video. As a matter of fact, let me go back and see. He made, is that his most recent video? Yes, it was that video. And in the comment section, they were just like, imagine what Ben Johnson could do if he's doing this with Montgomery and Gibbs. Imagine what he could do with McCaffrey and Mason. And I'm like, bruh, McCaffrey, he done fallen off a little bit. And Mason is no David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs. We got the best running back tandem in the league. It's crazy how other fan bases are just zoomed in. Like, we don't just talk it, we are it. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are the best 1-2 punch in the league. Sonic and Knuckles, man. For real. Shout out to, I don't know if y'all knew this, man. Shout out to the person on Twitter, whoever it was that came up with Sonic and Knuckles, made it all the way to the Detroit Lions, and David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs chose, they hated peanut butter and jelly. They thought Thunder and Lightning was boring and old. And when it came to Sonic and Knuckles, they loved it, and now they run with it. So kudos to whoever came up with that. That's fantastic. Now we need nicknames for Kirby and Brian. We need Carlton and Terrion, and soon we'll need something for, I think, Aiden and Smith and Hutch. That could probably be theirs, right? So some type of cop tandem. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. This guy wants Ben Johnson to be the next head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, but it's going to be tough because they could be a team that fires their general manager as well, and then they'll have to do it where the owners bring in a GM, and then the GM is going to have to choose their guy. One thing you can say is we've seen this firsthand with Jim Caldwell and Bob Quinn. If a general manager does not choose the coach, it's a problem. If the coach does not choose the quarterback, it's a problem. In an ideal world, you're going to have a coach. Here it is. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes came in together. They jointly said that Jared Goff was going to be a fit, that they wanted him part of the trade. So essentially, it's like they drafted their quarterback. But if you have a general manager that hires a coach, and then that coach has to choose his quarterback, because what's going to happen is the coach is going to be tied to the quarterback. So if you take the Bears job, you're going to be tied to Caleb Williams for the next 3-4 years. If you take Brock Purdy, he is going into year 4, I believe. So you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with him. So if Ben Johnson decides, let's just hypothetically say he goes over there. It's a new general manager. They hire Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson has to play with Brock Purdy. Then you have to decide what you're going to do, and now you're drafting a quarterback. I know for sure Ben Johnson is not leaving unless the situation is primo from top to bottom. The owner has to be great. The general manager has to be great. The situation, the team has to be great. He's not going to go to anywhere. It's one of the things, man, like if your starter very easy, you know what I'm saying? It's just boom, and you run back the other way. Ben Johnson gets spooked. That's the word I'm looking for. Ben Johnson is spooked very easily. He has a great situation with the Detroit Lions, and he is not going to leave that situation for any situation. We've discussed this before. Coaching jobs are hard to come by, and Ben Johnson is always going to have an opportunity. But once you become a head coach, it's not always easy to win. Look at what is happening to these coaches, man. We've lost Dennis Allen. He's been fired. We've got Robert Saleh. He's been fired. And many more are coming. Many more are coming. We've already gone over this, and there's probably going to be 7 to 8 coaching jobs at the end of the season. And Ben Johnson is going to want to have to go to one of them. So let me know what you think about Grant Cohen. Have you seen his content? I think he's hilarious. Like I said, I respect the fact that he has no filter when it comes to the 49ers. And he actually did a video the other day where he called Kyle Shanahan a fraud. He had to apologize. Well, he apologized. Did he have to? I don't know. And that's one of the things I'll be trying to tell y'all. Like, I don't necessarily want a media pass. There are people that have those passes, and thankfully they allow us to, they put that confirmation or that information on the internet, and I get to, sample that by giving them credit. I don't know if I could be that guy. I don't know if I could be that guy that asks the questions and all that stuff. And I like what I'm doing. They like what they're doing. But they might have had him apologize in order to keep his media credentials. Because as John Macron was saying when we were on the podcast together, you have to have a relationship. I guess they can take it away from you. That's why I don't think I would ever get it. I really don't want it, but I don't think I would ever get it. When I talk about it, y'all, I talk about doing stuff for the fans. So I would like to be that guy that's on the sideline for the fans or anything like that. I really don't want to be credentialed and things like that, because I want to be able to say and do what I want. If Brad Holmes never speaks to me, that's fine. Dan Campbell never, I don't need that. You know what I mean? It would be cool, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to bring you guys access that you wouldn't have otherwise. Not necessarily from a media, credential media personality. I'm trying to bring you that fan, information and from a fan perspective. But anyway, let me know what you think. Ben Johnson going to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think he goes anywhere. I don't think either coordinator leaves, to tell you the truth. They could both go if the situation is great, but I don't think either one leaves. And it's crazy because Dan Campbell is like one hire away from having a coaching tree. I mean, that's crazy, right? Crazy. The meathead that everybody wanted to call a meathead and he was stupid and all that stuff is about to have a coaching tree. And I don't know the last Detroit Lions head coach to not coach before, have a head coaching job, not an interim head coach, but a head coaching job and have a coaching tree. So put in the comments below if you know or you want to do the research. Who was the last Detroit Lions head coach who had never been a head coach before to coach the Detroit Lions to have a coaching tree? Officially, Dan doesn't have one yet, but no doubt he'll have one very soon. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.